communication is the most challenging piece of running a remote team. Honestly, it's probably the most challenging piece of running any team, is like getting folks to communicate well with each other. And so we spend a lot of time as part of our onboarding talking about how we interact with each other and how we work as a team. So we have guides for how to interact with Slack. We teach folks how to use Slack. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, when they first hear this, they're kind of like, Slack, it's a chat thing. Like, I've used it at companies before. Of course I know how to use Slack. And our response to that is, yeah, you do know how to use the features of Slack, but there's a whole etiquette and communication system around how we use Slack that might be different. And so that we teach folks how to do that. We have another tool, internal tool we built internally called Async, and we teach people how to communicate through Async. One of our team values that I mentioned is growth through feedback. So we give a lot of feedback to each other. As part of onboarding, I teach a class to everybody where we practice giving feedback to each other. So this onboarding period is a really critical point in time that you can use to set the cultural standards for how you communicate with each other, and how and make sure that as a team you continue to hold each other to those standards. I think the onboarding period is so critical for this too, because in the first month on the job, first 2 months of the job, people are looking to the pre-existing team for how does things kind of work here? Like, do I do this? Should I do it this way? And they're trying to get a feel for, like, I want to kind of do it the way that this company does it. And so those first 2 months, you have a chance to help meld folks' minds around like how they should approach this stuff. But if you wait too long, once someone's been there for 6 months and you try and course correct and say like, oh, we actually do it this way, they'll be like, I've been here 6 months. We definitely don't do it that way. So that onboarding period is so critical for trying to get people oriented to how you want communication to work. And the thing is, you have to constantly work on it. It's not something that you can say, oh, here's a little tip or trick, and if we implement this, like, our communication problems are going to be totally solved. It's something that you have to work on every day, every week, to make sure that everyone is on the same page for how the company is going to perform certain programs or activities.
Yeah.